Hello, everyone. I'm Antonio Nuzzo, and today we're going to explain a project that involves Reply and CNH team during the past year. The name of the project is Unity Catalog, Earth of Democratization for CNH. The scope of the project is the integration of Unity Catalog feature inside CNH data platform. In this breakout session, we will start with a brief introduction about CNH and some company data platform metrics. Then will be followed by an overview of the business needs for this migration and the associated pain point. Finally, we dive into the details of this migration and start the lesson learned from this migration. So before start, I don't know how many people here know CNH, but who is CNH? So CNH today is a global leader in the design and manufacture of agriculture and construction machinery. It sells, develops, and constructs machine and also the related service. It operates across 3 different segments that are construction, agriculture, and the related financial services. CNH has more than 10 different brands split in 2 macro categories. Global brands and regional brands. Global brands are Case and New Holland. Both of them produce agriculture and construction machinery. And then there are the regional brands, such Riven, Steyr, and Eurocomach. For example, Riven is specialized in digital and precision farming services for the agriculture. Then there is Riven Steyr specialized in the production of tractors for the European market, and Eurocomach that produce excavator of medium and small size. So as said before, CNH works on 3 different segments. Agriculture, in agriculture is the 2nd largest manufacturer of agricultural machinery in the world, and is a leader in machine automation and precision agriculture. Then there is the construction. So in construction, is a global player in construction equipment, and this sector has an extensive synergy with the agriculture sector. And finally, there is the financial service that provide both agriculture and construction sector support to enhance the customer experience. Some number about CNH. I said before, 1 company, 10 different brands for the year 2022, 23.6 billion of revenue all around the world, and more than 40K employees, and 43 plants all around the world. About the revenue, most of the revenues come from the agriculture sector, approximately the 76%. Then there is the construction with the 50%, and finally, the financial services. The focus on this speech will be on the data platform that contain information related to the agriculture sector. About this data platform. The data platform involved in this speech is named ADS, and is Enterprise Data Store, and is the largest domain in CNH industrial context. It's responsible for managing and providing services to all CNH business units around the world, and is a critical part of CNH operation and play a vital role in the company's success. Some number about EDS. So CNH works on 6 different regions all around the world. This means that there are at least 6 different sources. We ingest every day more than 5 terabytes inside the platform, and the platform uses more than 100 business users every day. So this is the architecture of EDS. I don't know how many people here know Medallion architecture, but it's basic architecture in Databricks and in most different cloud. And is organized so having 3 different layers, bronze, silver, and then gold. For each layer, there is a different storage account. The platform is in Azure, and then there are 2 more, one for landing zone and another one for the archive layer. In this architecture, the quality of the data increases at each layer. So starting from the bronze, where the data are a copy of 1-to-1 with the source system. Then there is the silver layer, where a centralized naming convention is adopted, and data quality checks are performed. And then also in this layer, the data are set to the same format. After that, there is the gold layer. In this layer, dimension and also fact are defined, and some aggregation are loaded. For this layer, it's used to be connected to the BI tool, so for, in this case, for Power BI, and also in some cases, Power BI is connected to silver layer. But this is architecture. What was the need that bring to the migration for CNH to Unity Catalog? Okay, so what were the needs that brings to this migration? Personally, with the help of Reply and also Databricks team, we identified 6 business needs. The first one is a centralized data governance. So CNH operating in 6 different regions all around the world. There was a need for the company to define rules for all users and regulate the access and unify the governance. Then the data consistency and accuracy. So being sure of the accuracy of the data is fundamental for the company to take right decision on the correct data. That doesn't work, sorry. Then there is the enhanced data accessibility. So simplifying access to the data and be sure that the user can access very quickly and easily the data is fundamental for the user. And then the data inside utilization. So the data for the company become an asset. It is very important to use right data to take the right decision. And then the scalability. So being CNH a multinational company with hundreds of users and many different use cases, is important that the platform and also the data governance policies are scalable as the need of the company and also the user need. To this business need, I want to do more. The first one is the reduced cost, because centralizing the data governance and having one point for the whole data governance policies, CNH can reduce the cost of maintaining and also managing the whole data infrastructure. And the last one, an increased innovation, because by making the platform more accessible to the user, it can leverage the user to develop new product, but also new service for the company. It doesn't work, sorry, but it doesn't work. Sorry. Okay, so respect to the previous slide, what's the missing point with a good data governance framework? As we identify four pain points for this data platform. The first one is sharing. So one of the challenges that we face for EDS was the impossibility of share the data easily, all the data asset with user. In many cases, this generating a lot of effort and many security issues, because in some cases we grant full access to production data to the user. The second one, it does, sorry, but doesn't work. Audit. The second part is the audit. So the inability to understand who, how, and what data was accessed, making resource monitoring impossible in most of the cases, and this preventing accountable costs to the different domains. Then the user management. So very difficult to manage hundreds of users in the whole platform. No chance to prevent access to the different workspace and no role-based access control. And the last but not the least one, the lineage. So before Unity Catalog in Databricks, there was not the possibility, it was impossible managing the lineage. This for us means use several different tools and a lot of effort for any project. Here's where come to the game Unity Catalog. So Unity Catalog is not a new tool because it was introduced some year ago from Databricks, and is the tool used for a unified governance and many other features inside the Databricks environment. So respect the situation before Unity. This tool introduced a centralized data management, the possibility to have a granular access control, the lineage that is very important, and also the data discovery possibility. So this is a summary about Unity Catalog. There are much more to say about it. But this is the Unity situation before Unity Catalog and after Unity Catalog. So for me, to the left side of the screen, there is the situation, right side of the screen, the situation before Unity Catalog. So before Unity Catalog, the management of the user, metastore, cluster was under the control of the individual workspace. Unity then introduced a single point of management for metadata, user management, access control, simplifying the access and the security, and also the resource management for data, for the whole environment. So this was a fundamentally changing in the maintenance and managing on the whole infrastructure, not also for CNH, but I think for all. Before start to explain what we did and how we delivered this project, we defined with the help of Databricks team and Reply, data governance policy. So we set several pillars that we aim to achieve during our migration, implementing Unity Catalog for CNH. So I reported five of them. So these include, I think that are the same for a good data governance project. The first one, the data auditing mechanism. So implement a robust data auditing mechanism to track access, modification, and usage of data, as also the resource in cloud, is very important. Then, after the implementation of a data auditing mechanism, conduct a regular data audit. So, which are the key in a large company like CNH to identify the issue and if this role compliance is correct. Then define data quality standard. So implement and define data quality standard to ensure the accuracy and consistency of the data. I think that this one is the most important business requirement to ensure that decisions are made using the correct data. Then the data ownership. So after these three, the data ownership. So assign clear data resource ownership to the user to be sure of the accountability of the data, but also the resource. And finally, a data policy usage. Clearly define and outline a best practice to regulate the access to the data, but also to the resources. How we approach to the migration. So after defining the pillars, we define three different steps and how we approach this migration. So the operational part of our migration. The migration, we can focus on three different pillars. So first one, the access control. So define best practice, security rules, and roles for access the data, environment, and also the resource. Based on the rule defined for the access control, we start with the data masking. So in this case, we design, but also develop a framework able to implement that dynamic masking to control the access to the data. And finally, the data auditing. A set of rules, in this case, best practice and some dashboard, have been established to conduct regular data audit to monitor the entire data platform. So the first step before start with the operational part on the migration has been defined a strategy. I think that in a context like CNH, but in all big company, is the most important part of the whole process. So because we have to adapt the migration to the company environment, but also in some case change the company needs. During the initial phase of the migration, we first evaluate how to structure the catalog. We face two different possibilities, by region or instead by domain. After analyzing the user needs, we determined that splitting the catalog by domain was the optimal approach. So this is aligned with the business needs in CNH environment. So we adopted the by domain approach. After that, to simplify the access the user, we have to define the role structure. We, in this case, replicate the decision did for the catalog to ensure that the roles are aligned with the catalog. So also in this case, we adopt the by domain approach. After the domain and after the catalog and the role structure, we have to define the migration approach. So migrate to Unity is not a simple task. We have to plan perfectly each task and choose the migration approach. Considering that the workspace inside this contest and be used by hundreds of users, Big Bang approach for us was to be risky. So we decided to approach the migration using a rolling wave approach for each domain and define a wave for each different domain, and then migrate all the workload inside Unity. After that, so we under-evaluate this task during our migration, but the admin definition was very, very important because impacts significantly all the CNH data strategy in some case. We face with two different options, single admin or instead delegated privileges. So considering the dozens of domain and the structure of CNH environment, we decided to adopt a delegated privilege approach. Last but not the least one, how export the data on Power BI. So the possibility in this case are two, by user or instead by using a tech role. Considering a CNH environment where users perform a lot self-BI, the preferred solution initially was by user. But then, considering that there are many cases where the reports are developed from the partner, so the consulting partner, we chose to adopt both the solutions. So in this case, we adopt in some cases the by user exporting. In other case, we define a service principal and a tech role. So after the strategy definition, before start to delve into the migration and explain better how we approach with migration, a brief timeline of our work. So we start this project in November 2022, defining the business need and the goal and the objective for this project. After that, in February 2023, we define an assessment of data governance set inside the CNH. Then in March, we start with the designing the solution and the definition of the best practice. In May, we start with the part of implementation and configuration of the solution. And finally, October, November, we finished. And the start of this year, we monitored the solution and made some change inside the new approach, the new solution. So, start from the access control. With the access control, design, implement the security for access was our goal. So the first step in access control is we define an hierarchy. So we believe that the hierarchy that best suited for CNH environment is the outline above. So on the top, there is the admin account that manages all Databricks environment inside CNH. Below the admin account, there are the Metastore admin. Metastore, Databricks has several Metastore, one Metastore for each region, so physical region, so one for Europe, one for North America, South America, and so on. And then the workspace admin, so one admin for each workspace. In many cases, it's possible that the same user fill several roles. After the technical role definition, there are the functional part. So for each domain, we define a owner that has the ownership of data, but also the resource inside the workspace. And under the domain owner, there are data engineer and data scientists. As for the previous case, some domain owner owns several domains, so a user can fill several roles inside the access control. And then the tech role for export the data on Power BI, as said before, or instead to execute pipeline, or for DevOps team to access the different workspace. About this is just one slide that summarizes how we approach the role definition. There are dozens of these, one for each domain. I report just one for the domain owner. In this case, you can notice that the domain owner can access all the workspace. So in CNH, there are 3 different types of workspace: production, certification, and sandbox, that is the workspace used by the user. And then access in mode or in read solely, and also write mode to the different domain. The domain owner, using the cluster policies set from the Metastore admin or the workspace admin, can also create or modify existing cluster, upscaling them or downscale in some case. So this for access control. After that, we have defined the best practice for the access control. The next part is the data, the data masking. This feature has been, not in this case designed, but also implemented on the goal layer. Enable data masking on ADS. For the data masking, we design this architecture. So in this case, this framework starts by extracting the DDL of the table from the silver, and then data governance team define who can access on the data based on the business rule. Finally, a dynamic view is created using a Python engine, and the data are accessed by the user based on the role. The masking that is defined is for column masking, but also for row masking. So column masking, for example, we mask sensitive data such as price, email, and so on. Row masking, instead, user to mask regional data. So for example, a user that executes a query from Europe doesn't see the same data of a user in APAC, and so on. About that, I reported a brief demo of the framework that we developed. So in this framework, we create a table that manages all the permission. For each table, there is a row with the permission that can access the data. And under that, there is the query executed. So you can notice that the same query executed from a different user has different results. So sorry, but this isn't clear. There, the user can see the data. Instead, there and there, the data are clear. This is for the column masking. For the row masking, we have a similar situation, but instead, in this case, the query returns an empty value. So in the first case, the user has a value for the query. In the second case, executing the same query, the result is null. After the data masking definition and implementation, the last part of our project was the data auditing. So last but not least, I think that this probably is the most important part of the whole project. So this data auditing mechanism and dashboard that we have implemented have had a huge impact on CNH data governance strategy. For this part, has been developed using the system table provided by Databricks. In particular, so these are all system table provided by Databricks. To develop the dashboard that I will show you later, we used 3 main tables: the audit table, the column lineage table, and the table lineage. So the name explains what the table do, but the audit table contains all record for audit event inside the workspace in the same region. The table lineage contains record for each read or write event for a table or a path. For the column lineage is the same. The first dashboard that we developed, the workspace action. So in this dashboard is displayed the time, workspace, and also the user access to the data and which action perform on a data. Though the data is not reported, for obvious reason, the workspace ID and the user ID are masked. After that, we developed the monitoring group dashboard. So this instead used to monitoring the different group inside CNH. So in a context with hundreds of groups, 100 of users, fundamental monitoring every week, month, depends on the situation, how the groups and also the person evolve inside the data platform. Then the last one on the permission. We have developed 3 different dashboards. I report just 2 here. One for the catalog permission, one for schema permission, another one for table. This dashboard monitor the different permission that the group has on the different data asset. And considering that we have thousands of tables, in this case 100 of group, is fundamental to take the situation under control. Then the consumption analysis view, the dashboard. So instead using the dashboard, the table for audit, in this case, we use the billing table and the computing table provided by Databricks. By leveraging this table, we create a custom dashboard with the help of Databricks team that monitor and also forecast the cost for the whole data platform. The last dashboard is the data asset monitoring. So as I said before, consider that we have a huge amount of table, view, and many different kinds of data assets. This dashboard monitoring the situation of the data asset during this moment also has evolved during the time. So that's about the data auditing. This migration required for us approximately 9 months. And think about what we do. Rewind and rethink how we approach this project. So first of all, working with a huge amount of data, we define a strategy for the migration. Then we designed one-time setup, which is equal for all domain. So we define technical role, asset to monitor, access to monitor, and also the different resources. For each domain, then, we performed an analysis to understand which data are used. As using the strategy and the rule defined in the previous step, we started with the operational part of the migration, creating catalog, specifying role, domain, resourcing, and then migrating the data asset. After the migration, we implemented the dashboard, revoked the old permission and also the access, and trained the user. It was the last part of the migration, and defined the best practice. So the best practice should be in the top of this slide. Lesson learned from this migration. So the work is certainly not complete. There is still much to do in CNH about data governance. But surely this project has enabled a data democratization for CNH, improved data sharing, and security access to the whole asset inside the CNH data platform. The benefit. As I said before, this migration brought several benefits to CNH. The lineage capacity. In this now, respect to the situation before, we can maintain the cost under control and a more user orientation for the whole data platform. And finally, the unlock potential. So on the other hand, involving and understanding the importance of proper governance and the ability to perform self-service analysis for the user inside the platform. So this has been the migration that we bring with the help of Reply team during the past month. And I want to say thanks to all the Reply guys, but also Databricks and CNH teams. Thanks for your attention.